going to introduce to you the guest in studio. She was in Big Brother All Stars with me. I want to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, Lerato Sengadi. I'm going to hold that thought one sec. Hi, Lerato. How you doing?
Why are you whispering?
Because you know it's about to be fire in this studio.
We really want to fight Kwambox.
Brian.
Yes. Me, I'm ready. Kwambox, I am ready. I'm ready to pounce on her.
I hope you're ready to surprise, to stand for Kenya.
Yeah. We have to represent.
2 versus 1. I'm already outnumbered, but you know what?
It's
Got
okay.
this.
I roll squad deep.
All right.
Good vibes only on Vibes Radio.
Guys, mukijua ile kuchomwa yenye tumechomwa hapo kwa studio.
Nitaka karibu niseme wanaume wawili.
Yeah.
Wakenya wawili wamechapwa na South African moja.
Okay, so of course in studio we've got Lerato Sengadi. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. All right, so you know, yesterday Kenya versus South Africa was trending, and you know, when you go to the hashtag, there's a lot of conversation there. You know, Kenyans comparing what makes Kenya better than South Africa, and South Africans coming through and telling us what makes South Africa better than Kenya.
Yeah.
And you know, we've just been having the conversation, and a lot of things have been said here in studio. So, you know, if you were to start, what makes you proud to be South African?
Oh, everything. First of all, South African women are possibly some of the baddest.
Okay, Miss
in the
Universe,
world.
Miss Universe.
See, you even know. I don't even need to go any further. You're
Yeah.
already the most beautiful women in the universe. Not the world, not the continent, the universe is South African. Let me just leave it there for now.
Yeah.
Music-wise, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Culturally, listen, food,
Yeah.
tourism.
Wait, what?
She's totally enjoying being South African.
Too much.
Everything.
Too much.
But you know, when it comes to relations with Kenya, I think for most people, it's every time we see South Africa in the news with relations to other African countries, xenophobia is literally at the top of that. Why do you think South Africans why do you think it's that way? Because if you look at Kenya, there's a lot of foreigners who live here. In fact, when the census was done, there's like close to 500,000.
Yes, foreigners
Who are living here very comfortably. There's never a story of, you know, xenophobic attacks, but then it's very rampant in South Africa. What happens?
I think, first of all, context is everything. Context is very important. There will always be a small group of people who just wild out and just do the most irrational and most erratic things at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And also, the last xenophobic attacks, it was proven that a lot of stuff was blown out of proportion. A lot out of proportion. You know what I'm saying? It's always easier for the media to clinch on or hold on to the negative things, create hysteria.
Yeah.
You know, it's easier to manage people that way.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. Xenophobia is wrong, and xenophobia happens all over the continent, all the time. It's just that, you know, a lot of the time South Africans were always portrayed in a certain way to almost have the continent not want to like us.
So you think this is stories that? So you're saying that it's blown out of proportion. It's not the way it
Yes,
is.
absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It does. And like I'm saying, it happens everywhere across the continent. But it was blown out of proportion. Social media, we know how social media is. Someone takes one
photo.
tiny thing and not looking at the full scale thing, and then it becomes hysteria. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened here.
Brian.
But
Yes.
we love Kenyans. Yo, not love Kenya, guys. Yo, not love Kenya. Love
No.
Nairobi, love
I mean,
Kenyans.
because it's always so interesting, and especially because the news always comes from international media, and by the time
that in itself should tell you something.
Yeah, because I mean, we had a hashtag, you know, after this was way before Kenya versus South Africa, but we had a hashtag someone tell CNN, and they had to literally apologize to Kenyans because they put out a headline that had what? It was absolute nonsense, and probably that's the same reason, you know, Africa and Africa for Africa. What does that mean for you?
Africa for Africa means Africa for all Africans. It means a borderless continent where we should have access to each other and be able to move freely, almost, obviously within a structured sort of system, but it shouldn't be difficult for me to get into an African country, like struggle with visas and you know, just and that's the thing. That's my love for Kenya. Let me tell you where my love for Kenya actually comes from. I inherited my love for Kenya from my late husband Jabba, right?
Yeah.
He had this insane love for Kenya.
Yeah.
And he always tried to explain it to me, and I never got it. And I only got to come here after his passing, right?
Yeah.
And his whole thing was Daraja, building bridges.
Yeah.
Like, you should be able to access other creatives, other information, resources, energy, love, vibes freely in the continent, because the continent is ours.
Yeah.
We can survive on the continent without ever having to leave this continent.
True,
We have
especially-
everything we need.
Especially mostly now, the
Right?
only way we can survive is literally staying within the continent.
Do you know what I'm
'cause of corona.
saying? So, not the Rona.
Which they have.
The Rona, no, the Rona.
is-
Oh yeah, you guys have the Rona.
You guys have it.
Girl.
Confirmed
Yeah.
cases.
Yeah.
I don't know. Confirmed by who?
Confirmed cases.
Is it Western media, like you said? I mean,
I beg.
let's
This
just
is
say.
South
Let me
African
just say
TV,
it.
I beg.
Let me just say.
Yeah.
Let me just say. We
Yeah.
don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
But I've got sanitizer and a mask, so I'm not taking to. But that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what Africa for Africans means to me.
But you know, it's so crazy. When you come to Kenya, do you need a visa?
no,
Well, we need visas to come to South Africa.
and that's unfortunate.
It's
right?
so unfortunate because it's crazy. We we open our borders, but then, okay, just recently they said that you can get visa on arrival, which is still hectic. This is Africa.
You need to know someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. When you think about most African countries, like yesterday we were talking, we're like, let's go on a trip. Corona cannot allow us to get out of the continent.
Yeah.
So we're like, let's look at within Africa. It will cost us probably more
It will
to travel within Africa than to leave the continent.
Yeah.
All right, remember, you are locked onto Morning Vibes with Kwambox Mbunde. We've got Lerato Sengadi from Big Brother All Stars in
Nah,
studio. When we come back, I'm going to ask you a crazy question. I hope you're ready.
No.
Good vibes only on Vibes Radio.
Should keep it right here. Morning Vibes with Kwambox and Mbunde.
And Lerato.
Yes.
Lerato,
Yes.
how's the experience at Big Brother
Ah,
when you joined? Yeah.
That thing was a hellhole, to be honest with you.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
You know what? That experience, I did it twice. Sheila and I actually both did it
Did it
twice,
twice,
right?
yeah.
The first time, I think we were sort of willing participants.
Okay.
And the second time, I mean, we are actually the only all-stars
Yeah.
from Kenya, from
Yeah.
SA. And that's the
Okay.
only reason I did the second time was because, like, I mean, the fan favorite, hello.
And how was
do I
your
not
experience in terms of literally staying in a house with foreigners, and now you have to make sure that you create allies and
You know, the thing, it's not even with foreigners, it's just 13 really weird and different people that you have to try and sort of navigate, not pissing each other off to the highest degree, because there's no escaping, you know. So tempers are high, everything is just adrenaline, testosterone, PMS. It's everything all the time, every day, every hour. And
Okay.
you know, sometimes you really feel like just ending it all. But a lot of the time, like, I got to learn some really amazing things about other cultures, other people, other women,
Yeah.
like everything. It was just incredible. And I met this crazy one, and I'm stuck with her. So yeah, it was amazing.
so in
know-
terms of friendships.
Yeah. And some of these friendships, it's not like the when you're in the house, when you're real, you're showing someone who you are.
Yes.
And when you step out of the house is when you realize, okay, maybe you aren't the person that you are
Yeah.
showcasing. I think because of also the fame that comes outside of the house, a lot of people get,
Swallowed.
big-headed, for lack of a better term, because this is recognition all over the continent.
Yeah.
And it's just like that. There's no hit song. There's no.
There's
I
nothing.
don't need to be nominated in anything. I just
Except
need
to be
in house.
evicted.
And the funny part, even the big stars like musicians, you
Yes.
meet people and they're like, "Damn, I wish I had your kind of airtime."
Yeah.
Because for 90 days, you're literally there, and the whole continent is speaking about you.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go, they recognize you. It's good.
And
I
it's
mean,
like 10 years later, and the energy and the love like just does not stop. We're talking about this yesterday,
Yeah.
that I'm still like carrying on with my life, just really trying to do my own thing.
Yeah.
But people still remember. And I'm like, guys, it was 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're like, yo, like, it was the best season. Like, we loved you guys. You guys were so real. Which is, I think, what the show should be about, and contestants going on the show. Like, just be yourself. Just be yourself. You know, a lot of people, like you're saying, they go there because it's airtime and, they get to push the product or themselves or
Yeah,
whatever.
yes, yeah.
But yeah, just be real, yo.
after you left Big Brother, I gotta ask this question: what have you been up to?
Oh, life has just been so amazing. Apart from certain speed bumps, you know, I'm the head of PR, influencer, and brand innovation at an amazing Black-owned, mostly female agency, and that's extremely magical. Which is another reason why I was here. I was here for the Man United Shivers Afro Blend event with a Man U legend. So that was really amazing.
Dwight York.
Dwight York. I was getting there. It's not like I forgot his name. Hello. No. With Dwight York, which was really great. So I get to work with a lot of really amazing brands. I get to do some really cool stuff, and I get to, you know, do marketing and communication that is appropriate for Black people. And, you know, because we get spoken down to so much in marketing and in advertising that I almost find it as my responsibility to show that, we are not dumb.
Yeah, because I mean, we're not going to point fingers about, you know, some particular brands, which we've spoken about. But then, you know, you look at, like, Brian, I'm sure you can attest to this. You're looking at an ad on TV, and it's for, you know, a multinational.
Yes.
They can't even be bothered to shoot an original ad here for this market.
Yes.
What they will do, they will shoot an ad in
South Africa.
or Asia, and they will like the actor is speaking in, I don't know, Tswana, and then they will put a VO.
Yeah.
And you can clearly see, you're like, wait, why is this guy speaking like a robot? It's because it's not him. There's a VO.
Yeah,
and that's disgusting. You look at the billboard and you're like, that doesn't look like anyone like I know.
Yeah. That's what happens when you leave communication that is aimed at the Black majority in the hands of non-Blacks.
Yeah.
You know.
Speaking of celebrities and influencers, how's the celebrity and influencer culture in South Africa versus, let's say, other countries that you've overheard?
I think in South Africa, it's almost a booming business. You know, everybody wants to be an influencer. Everyone wants that quick check to post and do whatever. But for me, it's not even really a sustainable career path. You know, it's a great stepping stone to other things. But I find it almost uncomfortable when people come to me and say, how do I become an influencer? How do I, because for me, the things you're supposed to be influencing are the people around you, like real social issues, like not pushing a brand. Yes, it's great, especially if it's something that's aligned to you. But for me, it's a fleeting, it's going to come and it's going to go. And people should be using it as a stepping stone to bigger things, owning content channels, owning their own platforms, and not making it like, when I leave school, I want to be an influencer. It's not a real thing.
It's not a real thing. And I mean, saying that, there's a lot of people here who are literally making their money from influencing. Of course, the other question I have to ask you is, you know, when I come to South Africa, or when I go to Nigeria, when I go to Ghana, I realize that the issues for African youth are exactly the same.
Absolutely.
What does an average youth in South Africa aspire to? What do they want in life?
I think, you know, and also across generations, it differs. You know, there's a whole culture that I think is also misled, that aspires to a fancy life of shiny things, of material things, of fast money, of long Peruvian weaves and Louboutin shoes and Gucci bags, right? And I feel like that's the generation that's going to be lost, essentially, because you're chasing all the wrong things, and that's also not sustainable. But there's also a whole group of young people who really want to show how great as young Africans we are, how creative we are, how even now the whole world is looking at the continent for inspiration. You know, we almost have to wait for maybe Drake to do a certain kind of song or Gucci to release a certain kind of bag for us to think it's cool. But there's a lady down the street who's been selling it on the street for the past 5 years, and you wouldn't even give her a second thought. You know what I'm saying? So there's this whole, I think, almost awakening that is happening, which really excites me, because there is no place on earth cooler than Africa. And I don't think young Africans understand or see that. It's
did you
incredible.
understand that when you were 10 years ago, when we were in Big Brother? Did you understand that?
Yes, I always understood that Africa is a vibe. Do you know what I'm saying? And that as Africans, we are all connected one way or the other. Yesterday, I was having a conversation with our driver, Gerard, right? And he was telling me that he's about to go through the dowry process of marrying his wife. And when he explained it to me, it's exactly what my husband had to do. Literally everything that my husband had to do in order for us to be husband and wife, he had to do. So even from a cultural perspective, was so similar. Language perspective, like you guys were talking Swahili now, but I could pick up almost what you guys were talking about. You know what I'm saying? So we're so similar. Like, was so dope. Like
Yeah.
I can't even. I
And
don't know how
everybody
else to say
understands
it.
that because CEO of Twitter, although he kind of
Jack.
postponed that, Jack, was moving to Africa because he realized that the next frontier is, the next frontier is Africa. We have the young numbers, we have the workforce of the future.
We don't have corona.
We don't have corona. Some of us.
The Rona. Leave the Rona out of this. Leave the Rona out of this.
Some of us don't have it. But you know what? We're speaking to Lerato Sengadi. When we come back, we're going to, of course, keep talking. Remember, you're live on Morning Vybez with Kwambox Mbunde.
Song of the hour. Good vibes only on Vibes Radio.
This song should have gone. Everyone falls in love, but some people just stay single.
For life.
Yeah.
Then they move out from their parents' house when they're 40.
When they're moving into the casket at 70. Lerato, at what age should someone move out of home?
Yeah, I moved out of home at 18. As soon as I finished high school, I was like, yo, mom, let me tell you what's going to happen. So I moved out of home at 8. I think just move out of home when you can afford to move out of home, yo.
So even 30?
I know, 30 is too much.
Because a lot of guys who were calling in were saying you should move out of home when you're ready.
Yes.
And which is okay. So we're asking, okay, at 30. And guys were like, yeah, as long as your parents are okay with it. And I'm like, would you date a guy who lives with
No,
you?
I'm not gonna like. What are we gonna like? What we don't watch movies like at your house? Like what's going? In the morning, what I agree. Good morning, ma. Good morning, pa. Sorry, I'm just getting water from your fridge. I mean, no. Okay, at 30, let's not do that.
I'll ask mom to go to the bedroom and just chill there.
Then imagine on a Sunday morning, you and your boo the night before went out, got lit, drinks are flowing,
Yes.
you fall asleep. Now it's Sunday morning, mom's is cooking Sunday lunch, gospel is playing, you're thirsty, you're dehydrated because you're hanging.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's gonna go get you that water? Are you gonna wait until your boo wakes up?
That's what I'm saying.
No,
Never.
No. Get out of home.
Yeah.
Leave the nest.
Plus, I'm not even coming over.
No.
I'm coming to your mom's house, period.
Yeah.
You're all day, every day, Vibe Station. Africa's #1 reggae radio station. This is Vibes Radio from Nairobi to the world. Let me hear